Back in 2014, a guy named Ben asked Forrest Fenn, "Do you think someone who is sure about the location of the home of Brown could reverse engineer where warm waters halt?" This is Ben Rayler. In other words, could you figure out where home of Brown is and then kind of go backwards and search backwards and figure out where warm waters halt is? You would kind of wonder why you would do that, and that's what Fenn says. Fenn says, "Thanks for the question. If you're sure about the location of home of Brown, why are you concerned about where warm waters halt?" Now see, I used to kind of read some of his stuff and kind of sense some mystery in it, but there's a lot of stuff, just like my just like my clue on Yellowstone. It's the simplest thing in the world to think Yellowstone would be where warm waters halt, because it's probably the biggest geological system of thermal venting in the United States. So, yeah, you know. He says, "Why would you be concerned about going backwards? But to answer your question, sure you could. And a few searchers, this is the key point here. It's an add-on." He says, "Sure you could reverse engineer where warm waters halt is from home of Brown. You could go backwards and figure out where warm waters halt is. And a few searchers might throw in some gas money for a percentage of the take. Good luck, Fenn." That, to me, is a pretty big little clue that he just laid on us. Might want to throw in some gas money. Begin at where warm waters halt and take it in the canyon down, not far but too far to walk, put in below the home of Brown. I've seen many people bantering around that subjective clause there, not far but too far to walk. And a couple of people at least, more than a couple, have come up with this magic number of 10 miles because I guess back when Fenn was a kid in Yellowstone, he spent 3 days on a fishing trip that works out to be about 10 miles. So people have said, so it must have been around 10 miles. I don't know what that has to do with it has to do with their theory of where the treasure is, and I understand that, but searchers don't need to throw in gas money to drive 10 miles, whether you're driving by boat or whether you're driving by car. I'm just throwing in the boat part because a couple of people I've seen have thought maybe he went down the canyon in a boat. Fenn has gone down no canyon as far as actually hiding the treasure. He has made that clear in interviews. He said, "Are you serious?" He kind of said to this one guy, he said, "Seriously, more or less, you think I went into a canyon at 80 years of age and walked down a canyon?" I mean, he drove, right? I think we all know that. But how far? Obviously fairly far if he's talking about people throwing in gas money. And I know he could have just been saying that as a offhanded remark that he didn't even think twice about. But I don't know why he would. I think for him to mention gas money means it's further than 10 miles. It's a little bit of a jaunt, as a matter of fact, or a little bit of a drive, if you ask me, to say that. So not far, but too far to walk. Could be a little bit longer than we think. Some of us think. Some of you out there probably are saying, well, yeah, that fits my solve perfectly. So anyway, that's all I've got for you today, folks. I just had that concept of Yellowstone as a geological area is in fact a place where warm waters halt, where heated waters are venting all over the place, hitting the atmosphere all over the place, going into cold rivers all over the place. It is truly a place where warm waters halt. If he had said where warm waters vent, I'll bet you everyone 100% would say it's Yellowstone, but he just said halt. You know, Fenn, the way he operates, he used that word for a reason. He doesn't want to make it too easy. How many times have we heard Fenn say, well, I'd give it away if I told you this or told you that? It's got to be Yellowstone, folks. Just got to be Yellowstone. That's my take on it. I think that is a perfect way of describing the Yellowstone region, where warm waters halt. And, you know, I've been reading in the vlogs lately, people are dropping out of the hunt. Well, of course they are. That's always going to happen. It's been going on forever. I mean, Fenn Fenn's talked about it. What if it's still out there 1,000 years from now? How many people would have dropped out of the hunt by 1,000 years? Some of us would have died. That's how we dropped out. Hey, I never see any more things from Eric Johnson anymore. Yeah, he died. I don't know why I find that amusing. Yeah, he gets so old, he just freaking died. Died with a walking stick in his hand, sticking up, in bed. That's all I got for you, folks. Oh, someone, when I did when I was doing some of my last videos. Oh, two things I want to bring up real quick. And I do want to do them real quick because I got to start getting dinner ready. I've discussed in the past what I would do if I found the treasure chest, and I talked about how if I found it in a national park, or I found it at Yellowstone, for instance, I would not turn it into the park superintendent. And I kind of glibly said, well, Fenn has said, yeah, you're supposed to turn it in, but he kind of did it with a twinkle in his eye or whatever. Well, I think I read an interview with him, and I put that on Fenn, the way I read the interview, because it was kind of like, well, if you think there's a problem. So to me, it was almost like he was throwing off the concept, but he wasn't. I watched an interview with him, and I'm not sure it was where the written interview came from, but when he talks about his lawyers, he says, and my lawyer said, if you're in a national park, you're supposed to turn it into the park superintendent. When he says it in this interview, there's no sense of a twinkle in his eye or a smirk or anything. He just flat out says it. And then after that he says, if there is a problem. Well, I think when you turn it into the park superintendent, this is what you're really doing. You're verifying that you're taking, in this case, a very expensive piece of property out of the park, but it doesn't have to even be expensive. You're taking a piece of property out of the park, and you're basically telling the Park Service, I have the right to take this out of the park. They're kind of just overseeing traffic of stuff out of the park, and I suppose they also into the park, but you know what I'm saying? They're kind of just saying, the park superintendent is supposed to just verify that you have a right to take this thing out of the park. That's all they're supposed to be doing. And my paranoid visions of them taking it and putting it in their chest or their file cabinet and not letting me have it back and all that, I think is kind of stupid. What they're supposed to do is verify you have a right to take the property out of the park that you're taking. And they're supposed to call the owner of the property. Obviously, if you own the property and for some reason had left it there, you could just show them the bill of sale or whatever. But in this particular case, since you're taking something out that someone else left there, there's, you tell them, this is from Forrest. Forrest Fenn left this here. It's a treasure hunt. We're all looking for it. I found it. They're supposed to notify Forrest Fenn. They're supposed to get the thumbs up from Forrest Fenn that you, in fact, can have possession of it and be on your merry way. That's what's supposed to happen. And I think that's what would happen. Would it mean you may have to sit around for a day in a hotel waiting for the red tape or whatever happens in these circumstances, especially since this is kind of a known item? Maybe, but who cares? Some kid got on me, well, I say kid, honest kid. Somebody got on me and said, it's a felony, it's a felony. Yeah, okay, I mean, I take that into consideration too, but having been around a while, district attorneys and police and all sorts of people have the right to charge you for things. In this particular case, to charge someone with a felony when they have found something that belongs to them, because Forrest Fenn, I assume, would say, yes, it does belong to them. I think most people would find that a little over the top. People are guilty of things all the time and not charged for them, even though they're found out. District attorneys pass on charging people all the time. Police sometimes don't push things and give you a warning and stuff. So, it being a felony, it is something to think about, but it is, I'll be honest and say, yeah, it's something to think about, but more to the point, I don't want anything of any nature in a legal sense screwing this up. So if somehow someone could sue on the basis of me not doing the proper thing with the park, if you catch my drift, I mean, I don't know what circumstance someone would sue under, but say they said, I'm suing under the principle that this guy did not do the legally right thing, and so therefore I have some claim. I don't know. I just don't want to screw it up. So I think I have decided, yes, I will go to the park superintendent if I find the treasure in a park. And Fenn did not wink when he said that, because I watched the interview and he just said it very matter-of-factly. He's supposed to go to the park. There was no subterfuge in his answer at all. No. The second thing I want to say is someone also got on me about one of my videos. A lot of people thought it was pretty funny, but I did do a lot of kind of imitating Fenn. Probably going to do it in the future. Let me tell you something about my feelings about Mr. Fenn. I'll make it short and sweet. I think he's a great guy. I think what he's doing is great. You are never in your life going to see, and I mean, as far as me imitating him, hell, I imitate myself. I can be the most if I get in those moods that once in a while are going to come out in these videos where I'm in a good mood and I'm in a happy mood and I'm in a fun mood, I make fun of everything. I didn't think I'd ever say this, but it just occurred to me. I can honestly say that in my life I have made 2 people, both females, pee their pants from laughing at my jokes, at my cavorting when I just started going on a tear about things that I didn't miss saying funny stuff. 2 different people. Not a lot. Not anything gross. Just a couple drops, but they're like, oh my God, a little got out because they're laughing so hard. How many people can say that? How many people can go to their grave knowing that they have made a couple of people pee their pants laughing at them? Probably not many. So it's all in good fun. It's not meant to make fun of Mr. Fenn. I think he's a great guy. And my point I was going to make, if I'd finished my thoughts for once, you're never going to see us again in your life. Nobody, in my humble opinion, you're never going to see anybody put a $2 million, $3 million worth of treasure out for people to find. You'll see contests in your life where people, it's 10,000, it's 1,000, it's a free book, or maybe you just figure it out online. You don't even have to do boots on the ground. You figure stuff out. All that stuff's always going to be there. But someone donating basically that much of their money to a treasure hunt for the entire world to partake of, I'm telling you folks, this is huge. It's big. I don't think it's a hoax, and certainly no one should ever throw their money away or infringe on their own finances to any extent doing this that it hurts them. But it's a fun freaking thing to do with potentially a huge reward. It's just never going to happen again that you get this, and we all have Mr. Fenn to thank for it because no one else is going to do it. It'd be wonderful if someone like an Elon Musk would say, you know what, I'm going to do what Forrest Fenn did and go do some other thing, maybe space related or something. That I don't know how that would work, but you know what I'm saying. It would be cool if some other person with a lot of money would put a big prize out there. The little prizes are cool, but a really big prize like this one. But I just don't think it's going to happen. I think it was a special man to do it. I think it was special circumstances with him thinking he was dying. I think it's special, his personality, that his sense of adventure and stuff, and liking the outdoors and wanting people to get outdoors. Enough said on that issue, but I'm not here to in any serious way make fun of Mr. Fenn. I want to make that very clear. That's not my intention. I'm just having fun sometimes, and I just find a lot of things funny, and probably the funniest thing I have found in this world is myself. So, having said all that, I hope everyone has a good time looking for the treasure, and talk to you later.